Alright, let's talk about how do we add and how we subtract near multiples, or written methods how to add and subtract. We talked about adding and subtracting near multiples. So we talked about many strategies, how to add, how to multiply, how to subtract. But I want to bring attention to this exercise. Now, some of you have to deal in real life about real stuff that we do in real life. So, example, this guy here, he has an amount of money. Whatever amount of money that you have in the bank account, whatever in your pocket, whatever in a box that you have, no matter what you have and you keep your money. So you're gonna use that money. Of course, you're gonna take some money from it. You have to use it in real life. You have to buy a car, you have to buy a boat, you have to buy a house, or you want to buy whatever you want to buy in this life. So you're gonna subtract from that main money that you have accumulated, or you've been hiding, or you earned that money. So let's say here, for example, I'm gonna have $250,000, and I'm gonna use this money. Of course, I am gonna subtract from that money because I am buying with the money there. Here, let's say here, for example, this guy has bought this car, Galore, or Galore, they say in English. It's a trademark of a car. So 71,000. So how can I subtract this amount of money with all these money? Now I have two methods. It's either I am gonna subtract to each one of them one by one from this main money that I have in my bank account or in my pocket. Of course, it can't be in your pocket. This is $250,000. It's either I'm gonna subtract from this main money that I have one by one, or I'm gonna now count how many expenses or how much money I'm gonna now extract from this main money. Get me? So either you're gonna add all of this money that you have that you're gonna use, you add them, and then in the end, when you find the total, you will subtract it from this. Get me? You will subtract it from this money. Or you have another method. It's up to you guys. It depends on how the table is organized for you. You can take one by one. You can say 250,000 minus 71,000 and then find the rest. And then also what that one that you find, you minus from it the second price, and then the third price, the fourth price. In the end, you see how much money has left for you, which is here the money left over from the main money that you had before. That's so easy. How do you do it? It's just, it shows your skills of how do you subtract. How do you subtract? How do you use numbers? And also, what is your strategy? If you see, we have done before which strategy you use in money. How do you do? Sometimes some of you, they're going to estimate. Some of you, they're going to use the precise number. Some of you, they're going to add the total number. Some of you are going to take one by one. So whatever you use, it's up to you. But it's your strategy, and all the strategies are correct, are right. So now let's take a $250,000, and then I'm gonna subtract from it. Let me write it a little bit big because this one is a little bit small. So I'm gonna write $250,000, and I'm gonna take of it. But what's the condition in this case? Now you need to align the ones with the ones, the tens with the tens. You get me? So when you write a number, you have to align them. Otherwise, you're going to be so confused. So if I'm going to write my number, I need to align my numbers with it. So always write, in this case, from here, from right to left. So I'm going to write my number 0, 0, which is 71,000, and I'm going to put 1 here. So now, I have aligned the numbers with their own specific place value. Now, how do I find the number? How much is it? So I'm going to do the minus. I'm going to do the minus. So 0 minus 0. I'm going to begin with the ones. 0 minus 0 is 0. The second one also gives me 0. The third one, which is the hundreds, gives me also 0. Oh, I have a problem with thousands now. The upper number, which is on the top, is smaller than the one which is in the bottom. The top is 0 and the bottom is 1. Oh, I have a problem. So what am I going to do? Many of you have asked me this question. Why do we put the 1 here? And I asked you, sometimes if you ask a question, you will create another problem for you. It's just a method how to make it so. It's a recipe how to show. Some of you understood what I said when I was explaining that here in subtraction, when I write a number here as 1, it means I already landed a 10. I took a 10 from the 5. I could now erase this 5 and put 4 instead of it because I took 10 from it and I used it. I used the 10. That's why I'm going to say now 10 minus 1, the answer is going to be 9. However, if you do not change like me, if you use the same method as me, and you're not going to subtract that one from the previous number here, which is 5, because I took from the 5 a 10, which is 50 now. Okay, here it's 5. If you write 4, it's up to you. You can write 4 because I took 1 from it. But if you keep it as 5, remember that you had to give back. I'm going to give back here as a 1, not as a 10. Because now anymore I'm going to deal with the same place value. It's a little bit, how do we say, tricky for you. The ones who really master so good the place value understand what I'm saying. So I'm taking from the tens to help the ones. So I'm taking a number from this section. I'm going to try to explain it as much as I can. So I'm taking a number from this section, which I consider as tens for me. It is not tens, but I'm considering it as tens because I am dealing now with this number. It depends how do you think, because now I'm just dealing with this case. Don't tell me, oh no teacher, you're wrong, this place value. No, actually I'm dealing with this yellow case. For me, the next number is tens. You get me? That's why when I take a number from it, it's considered as 10. Even though here it's not tens. Here, if you check, you're going to find 5. You tell me, teacher, no, it's 10,000s. Yes, but your reference is from here, not from the yellow, my yellow. So you're considering, no, we're not talking from the beginning. This method does not require your knowledge. It's different. So I'm considering this yellow. For me, the 5, forget about what's before. For me, the 5 is tens because I'm concentrating on solving 0 minus 1. So if I take a 10 from 5, it becomes 40. But I'm not going to write 40. I'm going to do a trick. I'm going to give back the 1 down because anymore I went back. Now, if I go back here and solve my situation, here my solution, oh, it's not tens anymore because I am in the number itself. I didn't lend that number. I gave it back as 1. It's tricky. For some of you, it's tricky. So, whatever you do without thinking, this method, it works perfectly. So, just now deal with it. This is the way that we subtract. If you take any one from the 5 here, give it back. Remember. So now I have 10 minus 1. The answer is 9. I finished. I'm going to go back to the 5. 5 minus 8. Oh, it's still bigger. So I'm going to take another. I'm going to take another 1. I took it from the 2. It's a 10 because I took it from the number before it. Oh, after it, from a bigger number. That's why I consider it as 10. I didn't take it from the same number. I took it from before, from the number after, from this one, which is a bigger place value than the place value I'm dealing with. That's why I consider it as 10, but the bottom is going to stay as 1s because I'm dealing with the same place value. So I'm going to consider the one on top as 15, but the one in the bottom as 8. So 15 minus 8. 15 minus 8, if I remember, okay, 15 minus 8, it's gonna give me 7. 15 minus 8, the answer is 7, because 7 plus 8 gives you 15. 8 plus 8 is 16, minus 1 is 15. That's why you need estimation when you calculate. You don't need to make it so much complicated. Take the one on top, put it back in the second number. Take the one on top, give it back in the second place, in the next place value in the bottom. That's what we do. Okay, I have 15 minus 8, I have 7. Give back this one that you took before. You took this one, so give it back in the bottom. Even though there's no number, it's empty, but put 1 on it. Doesn't matter. So 2 minus 1, the answer is 1. And here's my answer. Now the answer is 179,000. And you keep doing the same method. If you go now you're not going to go back to the 250,000 because you spent 1 car. It's finished for you. Now this is the answer. You go back to the next number. So I have cars for you, this section now here. I'm going to take this value that I have again, and I'm going to put minus 63,000 and 500. Okay, I'm gonna erase one before because I don't want to confuse myself. I don't need any more of the numbers before. So 0 minus 0, 0, 0 minus 0, 0, and then 0 minus 5. Here in hundreds I have a problem, so I'm gonna take 1 on top as I did. So I have 10 minus 5, and I'm gonna finish with it. It's 5. Give back that one that you took here as ones. So 9 minus 4. 9 minus 4 is 5 again. Alright, the next number, I have 7 minus 6. Here I have no problem. I'm not going to take anything. 7 minus 6 is already 1. But remember, we did not finish. 1 minus nothing. It's 1 again. Okay, so the answer is 115,500. Did I finish? No, I still have a Mania car. This car's name is Mania, whatever. I don't know. What's the car Mania, to be honest? However, he has spent money, and I'm going to count. All that matters for me is counting. So I'm going to do again. A minus 68,950. I'm going to write 0 here, the 5 here, the 9 in here, the 8, and the 6. So, guys, what do this video is just to explain to you what's going on a bit. Do me a favor and go back to the practice book. You will find the same exercise in the practice book. Solve it and send it back to me if you have any questions. Okay, you have till the next Monday. But please don't rush me up. I mean, don't, you know what? Let me give you something so useful for you. Till Friday, solve all the exercises by yourself. Of course, we still have some lessons, I think. We have on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're going to solve some questions together. In the meanwhile, prepare some questions to me in the classes, and then I'm going to answer you there, because we still have some time. Okay, guys? That's the best way. Do not text me, please, in the evening. Everything is clear and ready. The video here is made for you to make everything easy for you. Plus, I am available in classes to answer all your questions that you have. So you have a small booklet. Prepare your questions. Ask me in the class. We're going to solve it for you. Okay, the last one. So this one I'm not going to solve it. The same way, and you keep going on. The same way. Okay? Alright. The next lesson. The next lesson is... some of you will ask me, teacher, we said partitioning to add and subtract. By the way, these two are combined, 2a and 2b. Only in this exercise. Just take this exercise. I made exercises which is complex a little bit. It takes two lessons, 3 lessons. Partitioning. Some of you are going to ask me, what is partitioning? Partitioning is when you take a number, instead of adding it directly with this direct method, you separate the number. You take the hundreds, and then the tens, and then the ones. Many students do know what I'm talking about. Some of you do not understand. But if you just take this exercise, if you know how to subtract, if you know how to add, you won't have any problems. By the way, adding is the most easiest method. If you add, I'm going to give you one example for adding, because I just gave you one example of how to subtract. Let's say I'm going to add, okay, let's take this number. Let's say I'm going to have 359,472, and then I'm going to add whatever, even though it's bigger. Let's say I'm going to add to 10,934, whatever. So I'm going to add these numbers. So I have 2 plus 4. 6, 7 plus 3, 10. I put a 0 here, and the 10s put them in the next number on the top. And here, do not do the mistake. This is not subtraction. Don't say it's 14. It's addition. It's counted as ones. We're dealing only with this number. We didn't take number from before. That's why we consider it as 1. I didn't take from the 9 number. I don't need any help. The help is needed only in subtraction. Here, we are giving. I gave this 10 from the 1 previously, not from the 1 before. I didn't take any help from any number. So it's considered as ones. It's not considered as tens. Remember, in addition, the ones here are only ones. There's no tens. The tens only in subtraction. So now I have 4, not 14. Careful, I almost did the mistake. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 9. Directly, when you have plus 9, remember, oh, I'm going to add plus 10 is 15, and then minus 1. Oh, it's 30. It's 14. Okay, 5 plus 9, it's 14. Put the 1 here again. It is not 19, it's 10. 10 plus 0, as put 0 here and put the next one here. So 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. Remember that the 3 is with an empty number, so 3 plus nothing is 3. Okay, and the answer is 370,406. Alright guys, we did this many times in class. This is how do you add numbers. Alright, now factors and multiples. How do you find factors? The factors and the multiples. So we pass the multiplication instead of making it too much complicated. The multiples. I was gonna put a question for you as multiples, but in the end I said, oh, too much time, they won't make it. Even factors now is gonna make it a little bit difficult for you, so I prefer to give you factors instead of doing okay. How do we find factors? So you're gonna have numbers. Do you remember this exercise that we did together? I remember we did this one. If anyone knows what are we talking about, take any number, for example 24, which we took it many times. This 24, it keeps repeating again and again. I just need to find combinations of numbers, of two numbers, pairs. We call them pairs, pair numbers. What's the combination of two numbers? I multiply between them, gives me 24. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna go back in my memory, check the tables, the multiplication tables, which numbers. Okay, 6 times 4. I remember that 6 times 4 gives me 24. Thank you. One of them. 6 times 4. One of you is so much lazy, he's gonna say, teacher, you've been saying always 24 times 1 gives you 24. Yes, I say yes, you are definitely right. 24 times 1. Yes, it's a good combination. That's true. One of them is gonna say, oh, I remember that something with 8. So 8, and then you're gonna count with your fingers. Maybe you're gonna use your fingers. Oh, 8 times 3. Yes, 8 times 3 gives you 24, because 8 plus 8 is 16. A 16 plus 8 gives you a 24. So 8 times 3 gives you a 24. Do we have another combination? Okay, I used a 6, I used a 4, I used an 8, I used a 3. Do I have another one? Yes, I do have another one, because 24 can be divided by 2. So I remember it's 12 times 2. 12 times 2 gives me also, remember, 12 times 2, yeah, it gives me 24 also. So I have plenty of pairs here. I just have 4. What is the factors? The one in yellow now that I'm going to mention are called pairs. What's pairs? We have 1, 24 as pair. The second pair is 4 and 6. Look, I'm doing pairs from small to big. I couldn't say 6 and 4 because 6 is bigger. So when you give factors, you begin with the smallest, then you give the biggest. So oh, the second pair here, it's 3, 8. Another pair I have here, 2, 12. Oh, these are pairs. So what are the factors? The factors, I'm going to now mention them in red. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24. Now if you come here to 24 and you're going to mention your factors, if you mention the pairs, you mention the ones in yellow. If you mention the factors, I'm going to write it here because it's a little bit not awkward for you. Factors. Now I'm going to begin with the smallest. I have 1. Do I have 2? I have 2. Do I have 3? No, I don't have 3. I have 4. I have a 6. I have an 8. I don't have a 9. I don't have a 10. I don't have an 11. I have a 12. Do I have a 14? No, unfortunately not. So I have, did I miss any number? I didn't miss any number. I missed a 3. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to erase. Because I missed a 3, I need to go from smaller to bigger. Remember, do not miss any number. A 3. So after the 3 I have 4, and then I'm going to check. I have a 4, and then do I have a 5? No, I have a 6. I have a 7? I don't have a 7. I have a 9. I have an 8. I don't have a 9. I don't have a 10. I don't have an 11. I have a 12. After 12, what do I have? I have directly 24. So these are the factors. Then it will tell you how many. What is the number of factors in here in the right? Here. What is the number? I'm just going to count them. How many do I have? I have some here in green. Oh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 factors. I have 8 factors. Okay? The pairs are in yellow. The factors are in red. How many factors? It's in green. And you keep going, the same thing. This one we did it many times. How do we find the factors? 21, 22. 22 is just 2 times 11, there's nothing more. And 22 times 1. 22 times 1 and 2 times 11. So we have only 4 factors. Alright, now here. Okay, factors are finished. There's no multiples, guys. There's only factors. Now coming back to the multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000. Do you remember the last homework I gave you? That decimal number, and then you're going to multiply it with 10, with 100, and then with thousands. That's the same one. You can go back also to the practice book and find it. Here, if you check here, I don't remember if we used it in here in the student book. Let me remember. I think we had some of it here. It's a big table, and then you multiply. It's kind of this one, kind of that one. But I remember we did it together in the big table. Here we are in the prime numbers. I prefer to go to the practice book because I remember I gave you a homework in the practice book. This is, what lesson is this? Yes, odd and even number. And then that big table, if you remember it, guys, in the practice book. Let's go back. I am still in written methods. Written methods. Where's my biggest number? Where are you? Oh, we are in factors now. We're almost. The doubles and the halves, we don't have it. Here, exactly. Precisely, it's this one. And many of you did it. I passed last time, and I checked many practice books in the class, and many of you did it. And also, we did it in the class. So, this one, of course, it's not going to be the same number in the exam. I'll give you another one, another combination of numbers. Now we have 5.8. So 5 is considered as ones. 5 is considered as ones. 8 is called tenth, not tens. The tens are before the decimal. After the decimal, of course, we have only 1 ones. There's no ones after decimal. But after decimal, there's tenth, th, or if you check here, it's written even here. Here, tenth. So we have here tens and tenth. This is after the decimal. The decimal is here. This is before the decimal. Example, let's say you have 21.5. The 5 is tenth, but the 1 is ones. The 2 is 21 is tens. Get me, guys? I think many of you did this, and it was so easy for you. Alright, this is the last question I'm going to do. I'm going to explain to you. So, if you multiply by 10, what's going to happen? Let's say you have, let us say you have any other number. Let's pick up 7.8, for example, or let's say 7.2. 7.2. If I multiply by 10, directly take this decimal and put it in the front. Not in the front, sorry guys. Put it in the back because the number gets bigger. Think about it. 72. Oh, 72 is much bigger than 7.2. It's 72. Yes, it is, because I multiplied by 10. Since I multiplied by 10, this decimal is going to move forward. Not forward, backward, in the back. Get me? So, in the back because we're moving from decimal and then to bigger number. So 2 is smaller and the 7 is in the place value bigger. In terms of place values, I say before or after. Get me, guys? So we say for the ones is before for the tens. The tens is after. The first one is ones, then we go to the tens, to the hundreds. So if you are in the 100 place value, the place value before is tens. If you are in the tens, the place value before is ones. That's why I say before. It means I'm going this way before. So here, if I multiply by 10, take this point dot, which is decimal, backward to before. So it becomes 72.0. Remember, in decimals, if you have 0.0, ignore it. Forget about the decimal. It's only 72. Okay, so here it becomes 58. Remember, because we multiplied by 10. Now, if I'm going to multiply by 100, I will take this number again and multiply it by 10 only, because it's already multiplied by 10. It's already multiplied. First, we have multiplied here. If you see, we multiplied here by 10. We found this one. But if you want to multiply by 100, it means this number I multiplied by 100. So this one multiplied again by, it become 580. If I multiply by 1,000, so it's going to become 5,800. And the same thing goes for the next number. Here I have 11.6. Oh, this time I have 2 digits. If I multiply by 10, I need to move this decimal backward. So it become a 1, a 1, and a 6. If I multiply by 100, so I need to add a 0. I'm going to put 1, 1, 6, 0. If I multiply by 1,000, so I'm going to move again by another 0. 1, 1, 6, 0. I add another 0. Get me, guys? Let's go to this 227.3. 27.3, if I multiply by 10, this decimal goes backward. It becomes, because here we have, look, we have cases. Remember, the ones are here, the tens are here, the hundreds are here. So because I multiplied, it goes backward. Now the number, it became bigger. It's 200, so I'm going to come here in this case and write the hundreds. It's 200 anymore. It's 273. If I multiply again by 10, or take the same number and multiply it by 100, oh, it adds another 0 to it. 27, or 2,730. If I multiply this number again by 1,000, it means I'm going to add a 0. 27,300. Hopefully I'm so clear for you guys. Okay? Good luck for the exam. See you guys.